Hi there. So I wanted to talk today about a topic that came up in a presentation that I just finished with some school counselors in kind of an East Texas region. And we had a presentation on crisis and how to support students with crisis interventions and also crisis prevention. And a huge shout out to them because they were just fantastic and inquisitive and asked some of the best questions and had some amazing comments that I had seen. But one of the concerns that came up, and I think a lot of school counselors have the same concern, is that of using suicide risk assessments when so many caution against using them, like the American School Counseling Association, which has, written several articles about kind of the dangers of using them. And so what we talked about in the presentation was kind of a three-step way to think about this so that we can feel comfortable doing our job in this climate of, I guess, uncertainty of, some organizations saying suicide risk assessments are dangerous and shouldn't be used by school counselors, and then school districts and school leaders sort of mandating that we do use them. So I think here's how to handle that. Number one, the priority is to keep children safe. So, and that involves, keeping them supervised and notifying parents immediately. So as long as you're doing those two things, whether you're using a suicide screener or whether you're not using a suicide screener, doesn't have to affect the outcome of keeping the child safe. So I think that can make us feel better in that whether we're using it or not, we're doing our due diligence to keep the child safe. The second piece is we all have a boss, and we have to follow our boss's directives or it's insubordination. So if you have a boss that is telling you to do a suicide risk assessment, that's what you do. But the third piece of this is how to move the profession forward, how to make things even safer for kids, and how we can do our job in a way that we feel more comfortable with. This is the third piece: advocacy. Take the articles written by the American School Counseling Association on the dangers of using suicide assessments in schools and share them with your principal. Encourage your principal to share them with the board and the superintendent so that all of us can be working together to stop using these instruments that aren't best practice, that maybe aren't helping our children the way that we need to be helping them. So I will post links to my crisis articles and my crisis resources in case you need those, since that was the topic of the presentation. And then I'll also post links to ASCA's literature on the dangers of using suicide assessments, so you have those if you want to start advocating with your administration. See you in the comments.